Hey everyone, in today's video we are taking a look at some beginner to intermediate tapping riffs that can help you to level up or take the next step. So these are meant to push you a little bit outside of your comfort zone and show you how you can take some of the skills you already know and put them into a different and more complex context. Also, tabs for this lesson will be available on my Patreon page, so be sure to check that out. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, here's the first riff. It sounds like this. So this riff is a little more simple than it actually seems. The right hand tapping is basically just tapping into open notes with a little slide kind of in between. Now the reason I wrote this riff is that it's a good introduction to piano style tapping. So what that means is we are tapping with both our left hand and our right hand simultaneously. So if we look at the little chunks in the riff, we have these instances where we're tapping with both hands. For example, at the beginning, we start with the left and the right hand at the same time. So that little bit of coordination is probably going to feel a little bit new and a little bit different. And when we move to the next chunk, again, same thing. Both hands have to tap at the same time, which can feel very different if you've never done it before. And then, again, we have the same thing. So I've tried to make it really simple in the right hand and in the left hand so you can just kind of get used to that feeling. You can write riffs that are similar to this one that are a lot more complicated if you just introduce some movement. So again, trying to get you to get into the mindset of that piano type playing. So that's the first riff. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, for this next riff, this is a play on a very classic tapping gesture. When you learn tapping for the first time, odds are you start with something like Eruption by Van Halen, which goes like... So this basic sound here is tapping with the right hand and hammer-ons with the left hand in groupings of 3. So anyways, here is the riff, basically just playing off of that. So this starts again with that grouping of 3 gesture at its core. In this case, this little variant I'm playing here is just on the G string, tapping on the 12th fret, pulling up to the 5th, hammering onto the 7th. Now, the riff is modernized by moving some of the pieces. So instead of just hammering on to the same string here, I can take my 3rd finger and hammer onto really any string I want, be it the D string, the A string, and we can also hammer onto any fret that we want too. So in this case, I jump around from the 7th fret to the 8th fret. And with the tapping, I tried to keep it very simple, but you can also move your right hand as well. So in the very last part of the riff here, we move our hand up to the 15th fret and tap on the note B here in order to create a little bit of a changing melody. So that's riff number 2. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so here's the 3rd riff, and it's got a big sound. So when we look at the left and the right hand, individually they're both pretty simple. The left hand is just playing some simple chords that are basically on the same set of strings, and the right hand is just tapping with pull-offs. But when we put them together, we get something that's probably going to be kind of new for you. So to start, we've got a little bit of interplay with this first E chord here. So as you can see, when I tap onto the 9th fret, there's a hammer on with the pinky here, which helps to make things a little more rhythmically dynamic. And with the rest of the riff here, the secondary challenge is just being able to tap while quickly changing chords. So we have some chord changes that all happen very quickly, and that's going to hopefully sort of push you out of your comfort zone. Let's move on to the next riff. All right, here's the 4th riff. So this one has a few new challenges. Again, we're working on the left and the right hand as sort of separate entities. Now, a new challenge here is that we are leading with the left hand, so, oops. So instead of playing simultaneously, like that kind of thing, we are starting with the left hand and then we're tapping with the right hand. So the left hand is basically just tapping on this A note and then descending down to G sharp, giving us that sort of semitone bass line kind of thing. A new challenge in the right hand is we are tapping without performing a pull-off. So once again, this is going to be sort of a new skill here. So what you can practice is just try to tap, but don't pull off afterwards, and see if you can control that. And then see if you can mix it in with a tap that does have a pull-off to get this sound. Anyways, that is the fourth riff. Let's move on to the last one. All right, here's our final riff for the day. It sounds like this. So this is a big shots type line that is fully based inside a chord here. In this case, A major 7 sus2, and we're working on some left and right hand interplay. So very similarly to the third example, actually, we start again with this tap on the right hand into a hammer-on in the left hand. So again, working on that interplay inside a chord shape. So when we have the chord shape, it gives us the harmony that we can sort of ring out against what we're doing here. Then we have a pull off into an open note. So we just sort of repeat that phrase. So this is good practice here for just strumming and tapping and strumming and tapping and just going back and forth between those two skills. So now when we get to the end here, we have a little triplet line, and this is basically just, again, some interaction between the right and the left hand. So we have a tap and then some pull-offs. And in terms of what the left hand is doing, I sort of stray away from this A major 7 sus2 chord into this like A major 7 sound, but really what I'm doing is I'm just moving my finger to the B string so that I can interact with my right hand and do that. So that is the last riff. I hope you enjoy this one too. Alright folks, so there you have it. Just want to mention again that tabs are available on my Patreon page, so be sure to check that out. Also, I hope to be posting more lessons regularly, so stay tuned and keep an eye on the channel. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.